Dr. Alan Richards couldn't believe what he was seeing. The signal patterns on his screen didn't match anything in Earth's databases. After 30 years of searching the stars, he finally had proof. "We're not alone," he whispered, his coffee going cold beside his keyboard. For weeks, the Deep Space Monitoring Station had picked up unusual energy signatures from multiple locations beyond our solar system. These weren't random cosmic events. They showed clear patterns of coordination. Whatever was out there was intelligent, and it was moving. Alan called his team together in the observatory's main conference room. The faces around him showed a mix of excitement and fear as he displayed the data. "These signatures suggest propulsion systems," said Alan, pointing to the screen. "And not just one. We're looking at what appears to be multiple fleets of spacecraft, all changing course in similar ways at similar times." "Could it be natural phenomena?" asked Lisa Cooper, his deputy director. Alan shook his head. "Not with this level of synchronization. And look at this pattern. They're all maintaining precise distances from each other while changing velocity. That's not natural." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "There's something else," Alan continued, bringing up a new set of charts. "Based on our calculations, these fleets have been deliberately avoiding our sector of space for centuries. The pattern suggests they treat Earth's region as some kind of quarantine zone." Within hours, Alan was on a secure video call with NASA's director. By the next day, he found himself in the Oval Office, explaining his findings to President Laura Bennett. She listened intently, occasionally asking sharp questions that surprised him with their technical insight. "So these aliens know about us, but they've been avoiding us?" the president asked. "That's what the data suggests, Madam President. They've created a boundary around our solar system and have been navigating around it for hundreds of years." The president frowned. "Why would they do that?" "We can only speculate," Alan replied. "But quarantines are usually established for one of two reasons: to protect the outside from what's inside, or to protect what's inside from the outside." National Security Advisor Pete Graham leaned forward. "Are they hostile?" "We don't know," Alan admitted, "but something has changed. These fleets are now moving in coordinated patterns that suggest they might be preparing to make contact." The president stood and walked to the window, looking up at the sky. "How much time do we have?" "Based on their current trajectories, the closest fleet could reach Earth in 3 months." The president turned back to face the room. "I want every piece of data we have on these signals analyzed. I want to know what they're capable of, and I want options for first contact scenarios, both peaceful and defensive." As the meeting broke up, Alan found himself alone with the president. "Dr. Richards, do you believe they're coming in peace?" she asked quietly. Alan hesitated. "Madam President, they've been avoiding us for centuries. They clearly know we exist. But now, suddenly, they've changed their behavior. Something prompted this, and whatever it was, they're coming now with multiple fleets, not just a single diplomatic vessel." "You didn't answer my question." "In my experience, Madam President, when someone who's been avoiding you suddenly shows up with their friends, they're not usually coming to make friends." President Bennett nodded slowly. "Prepare a briefing for world leaders. We need to be united on this." As Alan left the White House, he looked up at the stars just beginning to appear in the evening sky. Somewhere up there, alien eyes were watching Earth. And for the first time in human history, they were coming closer instead of keeping their distance. Humanity's long isolation was about to end. Captain Jack Morris stood on the observation deck of International Space Station Alpha, watching the alien ship hover just beyond Earth's orbit. The vessel shimmered with an iridescent blue glow and was shaped like a perfect sphere with no visible seams or propulsion systems. "It's been sitting there for 3 days," he said to Dr. Susan Clark, who stood beside him. "No movement, no communication." Susan adjusted her glasses. "The energy readings are unlike anything we've ever seen. Their technology must be centuries beyond ours." The room's intercom suddenly buzzed. Captain Morris, we're receiving a transmission from the alien vessel. They're requesting to dock. Jack and Susan exchanged looks of surprise. After days of silence, the aliens were finally ready to talk. "Tell them permission granted," Jack replied, "and alert President Bennett immediately." Within an hour, the alien spacecraft had connected to the station through some kind of energy tether. A single figure emerged from a portal that seemed to appear out of nowhere on the ship's smooth surface. The being that floated toward them was humanoid, but clearly not human. Standing nearly 7 feet tall with pale blue skin and 4 arms, Ambassador Krell moved with surprising grace in the zero-gravity environment. "I speak on behalf of the Centauri Alliance," the alien said in perfect English. "We have monitored your world for many centuries." Jack stepped forward. "I'm Captain Jack Morris of the Earth Defense Force. This is Dr. Susan Clark, our chief xenobiologist. We welcome you to Earth space." Krell tilted his large head. "Your welcome is appreciated but unnecessary. We have been here many times before, though never in direct contact." "Why now?" Susan asked. "Why contact us after centuries of observation?" "Because you have reached a critical development stage," Krell replied. "Your species has begun venturing beyond your solar system. The quarantine can no longer be maintained." Jack frowned. "Quarantine? You've been keeping us isolated." "For your protection and ours," Krell said simply. "Humans are considered unpredictable by the Galactic Council. Your rate of technological advancement is unprecedented, and your history suggests certain dangerous tendencies." "Dangerous tendencies," Susan repeated, her scientific curiosity overriding any offense. "Your species develops weapons before developing the wisdom to use them responsibly. You create technologies without considering their long-term consequences. And most concerning, you adapt and innovate at rates that destabilize established orders." Jack crossed his arms. "So we're too creative for your comfort." "Precisely," Krell said without any sign of embarrassment. "Most species take thousands of years to develop technologies that humans mastered in decades. This unpredictability makes many council members nervous." "What happens now?" Susan asked. "Now, Earth must join the Galactic Council and accept certain limitations, or face continued containment, this time with your knowledge and against your will." Jack felt his jaw tighten. "And if we refuse these limitations, then the Council will vote on more direct intervention methods," Krell said. "I have been authorized to invite a human delegation to the Council meeting that will decide Earth's fate. You have 30 Earth days to prepare." After Krell returned to his ship, Jack contacted President Bennett with the news. "They want us to appear before some alien council to defend ourselves," he explained. "Apparently, we're too innovative for their comfort." On the video screen, the president's expression hardened. "So they've been keeping us in a cage all this time, and now they want us to beg for our freedom." "It seems that way, Madam President." "Captain, I want you and Dr. Clark on the team we send to this council. Learn everything you can about their technology and these other alien species." After the call ended, Jack turned to Susan. "What do you think our chances are?" Susan looked out at the alien vessel, now preparing to depart. "They've been watching us for centuries, Jack. They know our strengths and weaknesses, but they've just made one crucial mistake." "What's that?" "They told us we're dangerous. Now we know exactly what they fear." Dr. Alan Richards and Captain Jack Morris stood in awe as they entered the massive circular chamber of the Galactic Council. The room resembled an enormous amphitheater floating in space, with transparent walls revealing the stars beyond. Around them sat representatives from 17 different alien species, each more strange than the last. "Welcome, humans," announced the council leader, a tall, willowy being with silvery skin. "We gather today to decide the fate of Earth." Jack whispered to Alan, "Friendly opening." The Earth delegation included 5 members: Dr. Richards, Captain Morris, Dr. Susan Clark, Ambassador William Hayes, and General Maria Diaz. They took their seats at a small podium in the center of the chamber, feeling the weight of 17 civilizations' eyes upon them. The council leader continued, "For those unfamiliar with Earth's case, humans have developed faster than any species we have encountered. They advanced from primitive flight to space travel in less than a century. Their technological growth is exponential and unpredictable." A reptilian delegate stood. "My civilization took 3,000 years to develop what humans achieved in 300. They are dangerous precisely because they are unpredictable." Jack noticed Susan secretly recording the proceedings with a device hidden in her sleeve. The information about each species would be invaluable. "We have maintained the quarantine for good reason," said another alien with multiple eye stalks. "Humans fight wars over resources, ideology, and territory. Imagine what they might do with access to our technology." Ambassador Hayes stood to address the council. "With respect, you judge us by our past, not our present. Earth has not seen global conflict in decades. We have united to face common challenges." "Pretty words," rumbled a massive being that appeared to be made of living stone. "But your history suggests otherwise. Your rapid advancement threatens the balance of power that has kept peace in this galaxy for millennia." The debate continued for hours. Some species argued for permanent quarantine of Earth. Others suggested limiting human technology to prevent further advancement. A few proposed more extreme measures, containing humans on their home planet permanently. General Diaz finally stood up, her patience exhausted. "You speak of containment and limitations while claiming to represent advanced civilizations. You fear us not because we are violent, but because we might one day match or exceed your capabilities." The chamber erupted in murmurs and clicking sounds as the aliens communicated their displeasure. "The human speaks truth," said a small, previously silent delegate from the back of the room. This species appeared almost childlike, with large eyes and delicate features. "We fear their potential." Is that not the very definition of prejudice? The council leader raised its hand for silence. "We must resolve this matter. The council proposes the following. Earth will be granted limited access to interstellar travel. Human technology will be monitored and restricted in certain key areas. In return, the quarantine will be lifted." Dr. Richards stood. "And if we refuse these terms, then protective measures will be implemented." The council leader replied coldly, "Your planet will be contained by force if necessary." Captain Morris stepped forward. "May I ask what right your council has to dictate terms to a sovereign species? What authority grants you power over Earth?" "The authority of 17 advanced civilizations who arrived at the stars before you," said the reptilian delegate. "The safety of the galaxy demands we handle emerging species with caution." The council leader concluded the session. "You have 7 Earth days to consider our terms. Return with your answer then." As they were escorted from the chamber, Susan whispered, "Did you notice? They have no unified military. Each species maintains its own defense forces." Alan nodded, and at least 3 of them seemed sympathetic to our position. "They expect us to accept their ultimatum," Jack said quietly. "But they don't understand humans very well if they think threats will make us back down." General Diaz smiled grimly. "Then perhaps it's time we gave them a proper introduction to humanity." President Laura Bennett stood at the head of the large conference table in the White House Situation Room. Around her sat the leaders of the world's major powers, all brought together by the alien ultimatum. The Earth delegation had returned from the Galactic Council meeting just hours ago with troubling news. "Let me be clear," she said. "These aliens have given us 7 days to accept terms that would essentially turn Earth into a cosmic prison. They want to limit our technology, restrict our space travel, and monitor our development, all under the pretense of galactic safety." The Chinese president spoke up. "Perhaps we should consider their offer. We cannot hope to defeat 17 advanced civilizations." "Actually," interrupted Dr. Richards, "we believe many of these species are not as united as they appear. Our analysis suggests at least 4 of them voiced concerns about containing Earth." Captain Morris added, and their military capabilities seem separate rather than unified. They don't have a single galactic fleet. Each species maintains its own forces. The room fell silent as everyone processed this information. "Even so," said the Russian president, "we cannot match their technology. What options do we have?" Chief Engineer Olivia Wright cleared her throat. This was her first time speaking in such distinguished company, but as the lead scientist of the Roswell Research Division, her input was crucial. "Actually," she said, "we may have more options than they realize." She placed a small device on the table that projected holographic images of advanced technology. "For the past 70 years, we've been studying alien debris found at various crash sites around the world." Several leaders looked surprised. This was beyond their security clearance. "Operation Lighthouse," Olivia continued, "a joint project between 12 nations, kept secret from the public. We've reverse-engineered various technologies that put us decades ahead of what these aliens believe we possess." She showed images of energy shields, gravity manipulation devices, and advanced propulsion systems. "They think we're just developing our first interstellar ships," she said. "They don't know we've already built a fleet with technology adapted from their own crashed vessels." General Maria Diaz, who had just returned from the council meeting, nodded. "The aliens believe we've been isolated all this time. They don't realize we've been studying their technology for decades." Colonel Frank Daniels, the military strategist who had been quietly observing, finally spoke. "We should consider a psychological approach. These species fear human unpredictability and innovation. Let's use that fear." "What do you suggest?" asked President Bennett. "Instead of accepting their ultimatum or declaring war, we challenge them," said Colonel Daniels. "We broadcast a message to the entire galaxy demanding they demonstrate their supposed superiority rather than simply claiming it." "A bluff?" asked the German Chancellor. "Not entirely," replied Olivia. "We do have hidden capabilities. The Artemis defense grid has been in place around Earth for 5 years. And the EDS Defiance is ready for deployment." Dr. Richards looked concerned. "The Defiance is still experimental. We don't know if it can stand against alien weaponry." "It's our best option," said Colonel Daniels. "We make them think twice about attacking us. If they believe we're more advanced than we actually are, they might reconsider their approach." President Bennett walked around the table slowly, considering the options. "So instead of accepting their terms or preparing for a hopeless war, we challenge them to prove their might while secretly activating our own defenses." "Exactly," said Colonel Daniels. "Humanity has always thrived when backed into a corner. We use their perception of us as unpredictable innovators to our advantage." "It's risky," admitted Captain Morris, "but it beats subjugation." President Bennett nodded firmly. "Then we're agreed. We will not accept the Council's terms. Instead, we'll issue our own challenge to the galaxy." She turned to look at the holographic display of Earth's hidden fleet. "It's time to show them that humanity will not be contained." As the meeting adjourned, Dr. Richards approached Olivia. "Is the Defiance really ready?" Olivia smiled grimly. "It has to be. Because in 7 days, we're either going to earn the galaxy's respect or start an interstellar war." The largest broadcast array on Earth had never been used all at once before. Engineers and technicians worked around the clock to ensure every satellite, radio telescope, and deep space communication device would transmit the same message simultaneously. This would be humanity's first unified statement to the stars. President Bennett stood in mission control, reviewing the message one final time with her advisors. "Once we send this, there's no turning back," she said. "The galaxy will know our position." Dr. Richards nodded. "The translation software has adapted our message into all 17 languages we encountered at the Council. Every spacefaring civilization should understand our meaning perfectly." "And Operation Lighthouse?" the President asked. Colonel Daniels checked his tablet. "All systems are active but hidden. The Artemis grid is fully operational but in stealth mode. The aliens won't detect it unless they enter our atmosphere." Commander Eric Martinez entered the room, still wearing his flight suit. He had just returned from a test flight of the EDS Defiance, Earth's most advanced warship. "The Defiance is ready, Madam President," he reported. "All systems functioning at optimal levels. And the crew? The best we have. Pilots from 12 nations, scientists from 20. They understand what's at stake." President Bennett took a deep breath and nodded to the communications director. "Send the message." A technician began the countdown. "Transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The message beamed outward from Earth in all directions, carried by technologies both human and reverse-engineered alien. The transmission would reach the Galactic Council within hours. On screens around the room, they watched the English version of the message. "To all spacefaring civilizations of the galaxy, humanity has received the Council's ultimatum. We reject containment. We reject limitations on our development. We reject the premise that we must be controlled. For too long, you have observed us from the shadows. You have judged us without knowing us. You have deemed us dangerous without testing your theory. Therefore, we issue this challenge to any who would claim superiority over Earth. Show us your might. Demonstrate the power that gives you the right to determine our fate. Prove your advancement is greater than our innovation. We have prepared for this day longer than you realize. The quarantine you believe kept us isolated has failed in ways you cannot imagine. We have studied you as you have studied us. Earth will not bow to threats. Earth will not accept limitations. Earth will not surrender its sovereignty without justification. You have 7 Earth days to withdraw your ultimatum. After that, we will consider any unauthorized approach to our solar system as a hostile act and respond accordingly. This is humanity's final warning." As the transmission ended, silence filled the control room. What they had just done was either humanity's greatest act of defiance or its most foolish provocation. "And now we wait," said Dr. Richards quietly. Colonel Daniels shook his head. "We don't wait. We prepare." Over the next 3 days, military forces worldwide moved to high alert status. The EDS Defiance took position behind the moon, hidden from direct observation. Smaller defense vessels were deployed throughout the solar system, their experimental cloaking systems concealing them from conventional detection methods. On the 4th day, long-range sensors detected movement. 3 separate alien armadas had changed course and were now heading directly for Earth. In the White House Situation Room, President Bennett received the news with grim determination. "How many ships?" she asked. "At least 30 vessels from 3 different species," reported General Diaz. "Based on their energy signatures, they appear to be primarily military crafts." "So they took our challenge seriously," said Dr. Richards. "Did we expect anything less?" replied the President. "They've come to show us their might, just as we asked." Commander Martinez stood tall, "And we'll be ready to show them ours." As the alien fleets approached, humanity prepared for its first interstellar confrontation. Whether it would end in diplomacy or destruction remained to be seen, but one thing was certain: Earth would not surrender without a fight. The alien armadas entered the solar system with confidence, their massive ships dwarfing anything humanity had publicly displayed. 3 distinct fleets approached from different directions. The crystalline vessels of the Arcturian Dominion, the living bioships of the Vespid Collective, and the imposing black metal warships of the Core Empire. In Earth's orbital command center, Commander Eric Martinez watched the tactical display with intense focus. Beside him, Dr. Susan Clark analyzed the incoming data on the alien vessels. "They're making no attempt to hide their approach," said Eric. "They want us to see them coming." Susan nodded. "Classic intimidation tactics. The lead core vessel is broadcasting an energy signature 5 times stronger than necessary. They're flexing." President Bennett's voice came through the communication system. "Commander, are our defenses in place?" "Yes, Madam President. The Defiance is in position behind the moon. Artemis Grid is ready but still in stealth mode. Earth's conventional forces are on highest alert." "Very well. Let them make the first move. They didn't wait long. The Arcturian fleet commander opened a communication channel to Earth. "People of Earth," the alien's translated voice boomed. "You demanded we demonstrate our power. Observe and understand your position in the galactic order." The crystalline vessels formed a precise geometric pattern and began generating a massive energy field. The combined power created a localized gravitational distortion that briefly caused tides worldwide to shift and fluctuate. "Impressive," Susan whispered. "They're manipulating gravity on a planetary scale." Next, the Vespid bioships released clouds of nanoscale organisms that quickly formed into a sphere around Mars. Within minutes, the red planet appeared to vanish from view, completely hidden by an advanced cloaking technology. The core warships then demonstrated their weaponry, firing energy beams that completely disintegrated a small uninhabited asteroid. "Now you understand," the Arcturian commander transmitted. "Your challenge has been answered. Accept the Council's terms or face consequences beyond your comprehension." Commander Martinez looked to the President's image on the communication screen. She gave a single nod. "Activate the Defiance," Martins ordered. "Bring the Artemis grid online." Across Earth's orbit, previously invisible defense satellites suddenly became active, forming a protective web around the planet. From behind the moon, the EDS Defiance emerged, a sleek vessel built with technology that no alien civilization believed humans possessed. "This is Commander Eric Martinez of Earth Defense Force. We've seen your demonstration. Now witness ours." The Defiance accelerated toward the alien fleets, its quantum displacement shields absorbing an energy blast from a core warship without damage. Earth's flagship then fired precision gravity pulses, technology reverse-engineered from decades-old crash sites, that disrupted the formation of the Arcturian vessels, breaking their geometric pattern. Meanwhile, Dr. Clark activated a device he had personally developed. "Broadcasting disruption signal now." The signal, based on alien communication technology found in Antarctica 50 years earlier, temporarily disabled the coordination systems between the alien fleets. Their carefully synchronized movements became chaotic as ships struggled to maintain position. On Earth, Olivia Wright activated the planetary defense system. Beam emitters hidden under the ocean's surface fired concentrated pulses that neutralized the nanoscale organisms hiding Mars, revealing the planet once again. "Impossible," the Arcturian commander transmitted. "These technologies are beyond your development stage." "Perhaps," replied Martinez, "you should have studied us more carefully before assuming what we could or couldn't do." The alien fleets regrouped, clearly reassessing the situation. Earth's defenses hadn't matched their raw power, but had shown surprising effectiveness against their supposedly superior technology. "Return to your council," President Bennett transmitted to all three fleets. "Tell them that Earth cannot be intimidated or contained. We have adapted your own technologies and improved upon them. Any attempt to force compliance will be met with resistance you clearly did not anticipate." After a tense standoff lasting several hours, the alien armadas gradually withdrew to a safe distance. "They're retreating," Susan said, relief evident in her voice. "Not retreating," Eric corrected. "Regrouping. This isn't over, but we've earned something valuable today." "What's that?" asked Susan. "Their respect." The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was significantly more crowded than during Earth's first appearance. Representatives from all 17 spacefaring species were present, with additional observers lining the upper galleries. The confrontation with humanity had become the most discussed event in interstellar politics in centuries. Ambassador Krell entered with a delegation of 6 other aliens, all senior members of the Council's Executive Committee. They took their positions at the central podium while the Earth representatives, Dr. Richards, Commander Martinez, Dr. Clark, and President Bennett herself, waited in the diplomatic chamber. "The human delegation may enter," announced the council leader. As they walked into the massive chamber, President Bennett noted the changed atmosphere. Where before there had been dismissive superiority, now she detected curiosity, caution, and in some cases, clear respect. 3 days ago, began the council leader, human forces demonstrated capabilities that our intelligence suggested were beyond your technological development. This council requires an explanation. President Bennett stepped forward. The explanation is simple. You underestimated us. For decades, your ships have crashed on our world. Did you think we wouldn't study them, learn from them, adapt their technologies to our own purposes? Murmurs spread through the assembly. The reptilian delegate who had been particularly vocal against humanity stood up. You reverse-engineered our technology. Impossible. Such advancements would take centuries. Dr. Clark smiled. Perhaps for your species, but as you've noted repeatedly, humans innovate at an unprecedented rate. Ambassador Krell moved to the center of the platform. The Council has reconvened to reconsider Earth's status. Your demonstration has altered certain assumptions. We hope it has, said Commander Martinez firmly. Earth will not accept second-class status in the galaxy. We will not be contained. The council leader raised a hand for silence as the chamber erupted in debate. We propose a compromise. The quarantine will be lifted entirely. Earth will be granted full membership in the Galactic Council with all associated rights and privileges. President Bennett crossed her arms. And the limitations on our technology and space travel. Removed, said Krell. But in exchange, we ask that humanity share its unique approach to technological adaptation through controlled exchanges. Many species could benefit from your innovative methodologies. Dr. Richards and President Bennett exchanged glances. This was far better than they had hoped for. Not just freedom, but recognition and a request for cooperation rather than demands for compliance. We accept these terms, President Bennett said. Earth looks forward to productive exchanges with all peaceful civilizations. The agreement was formalized within hours. As the human delegation prepared to return to Earth, the small childlike delegate who had spoken in their defense during the first meeting approached them. Your species has accomplished something remarkable, the alien said in a melodic voice. In all our history, no emerging civilization has ever forced the Council to reconsider its position so dramatically. We didn't want conflict, Dr. Richards replied. We simply refuse to accept limitations based on fear rather than facts. Fear is a powerful motivator, the alien observed, but curiosity is stronger. Many of us look forward to learning more about humanity now that the quarantine has ended. Back on Earth, the news of the agreement was met with celebration. Within weeks, President Bennett established the Interstellar Cooperation Initiative, appointing Dr. Richards as its director and Commander Martinez as head of security. The first alien diplomatic missions arrived on Earth 3 months later. Exchange programs between human scientists and alien researchers began soon after. Earth's unique technologies, particularly those that human innovation had improved upon, became highly sought after in galactic markets. On the 1-year anniversary of first contact, Dr. Richards and Commander Martinez stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed International Spaceport, watching ships from a dozen alien worlds arrive and depart. Do you think they'll ever fully trust us? Asked Martinez. Richards smiled as he watched a group of human students boarding a vessel bound for an alien university. Trust takes time. But respect. We've already earned that. In orbit above them, the EDS Defiance prepared for its first official mission beyond the solar system. Earth was no longer contained, no longer isolated. Humanity had taken its place among the stars not through submission, but by demanding the respect it deserved. The galaxy would never be the same again. 5 years had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Council. The planet had changed in ways few could have imagined. Alien technology now merged with human innovation across every major city. Gleaming towers with gravity-defying architecture reached toward the stars, while teleportation hubs replaced traditional airports. Dr. Alan Richards walked through the busy central plaza of the new United Nations Interstellar Headquarters in Geneva. Humans mingled freely with representatives from a dozen alien species. Business deals, Cultural exchanges and diplomatic missions happened side by side in what had become the crossroads of Earth's connection to the galaxy. "Quite a change from 5 years ago," said a familiar voice behind him. Alan turned to find Commander Eric Martinez, now Admiral Martinez, head of Earth's growing interstellar fleet. His uniform bore the insignia of the Planetary Defense Force, a multicolored emblem representing Earth's unified military. "Sometimes I can hardly believe it myself," Alan replied. "Remember when we were facing 3 alien armadas and hoping our bluff would work?" Eric laughed. "Some bluff. The Artemis grid is now being adapted by 4 other species for their own defense systems." They made their way to a private meeting room where President Bennett was waiting. Though in her second term, the years had added more gray to her hair and lines to her face. The responsibilities of leading humanity into a new era had taken their toll, but her eyes remained sharp and determined. "Gentlemen," she greeted them, "thank you for coming on short notice." "What's the situation, Madam President?" asked Eric. "We've received an interesting proposal from the Galactic Council." She activated a holographic display showing a distant region of space. "This is the Orion Cluster, near the edge of explored space. The Council wants to establish a joint research outpost there." Alan studied the display. "Why is this significant enough for a private meeting?" "Because," said the President, "they want humans to lead the project." Both men looked surprised. "It seems our reputation for solving difficult problems has spread," she continued. "The Orion Cluster contains unusual phenomena that have resisted conventional analysis. The Council believes our unpredictable approach might yield results." "So the very trait they once feared is now in demand," Eric observed with a smile. "Exactly. And there's more. Dr. Susan Clark's work on cross-species communication has been recognized as groundbreaking. The Council has nominated her for the Galactic Science Medal, the first human ever considered." The door opened, and Dr. Olivia Wright entered, carrying a small device. As chief of Earth's Technology Integration Program, she had become the bridge between alien technology and human adaptation. "Sorry I'm late," she said. "I was finalizing the prototype." She placed the device on the table. It expanded into a floating display showing a completely new type of spacecraft. "Meet the EDS Pioneer," she announced proudly. "The first ship designed from the ground up using human and alien technology in true partnership. It combines Arcturian energy systems, Vespid biological interfaces, and our own innovations in quantum computing." "When will it be ready?" asked the President. 6 months, and when it launches, it will be the most advanced vessel in known space, capable of reaching the Andromeda Galaxy in less than a year." Alan shook his head in wonder. From quarantine to leading interstellar exploration in 5 years. Not bad for the dangerous, unpredictable species. President Bennett's communication device chimed. She checked it and smiled. "The Centauri delegation has arrived for the anniversary celebration. As our first contacts, they've been given a place of honor." "Ambassador Krell?" asked Eric. "Yes, though he's been promoted. He now leads their diplomatic corps. Apparently being the first to recognize humanity's potential has advanced his career significantly." As they prepared to leave for the celebration, Alan paused by the window overlooking the plaza. A group of alien children were playing alongside human kids, all wearing the same school uniforms. "That," he said, pointing to the children, "is our greatest achievement. Not the technology or the political position. The fact that their children and ours will grow up knowing each other as equals." President Bennett nodded. "And to think, it all started with a warning to the galaxy to show us their might." "A warning," Eric added with a smile, "that turned into an invitation to show what we could accomplish together." Below them, the diverse crowd of humans and aliens moved through the plaza, building a future that neither would have imagined possible just 5 years before.